What is up, everybody? GGamer here. Today I'm going to try something new with the channel and talk to you about a book I really enjoyed. That book is this one right here by Paul Tremblay. It's called Horror Movie, and he is known for writing books that blend psychological vagueness with horror tropes. Now, Horror Movie was released in 2024. It is a standalone novel, but it is a phenomenal novel at that. And the story follows the thin kid, the only surviving lead actor from a low-budget indie horror film called Horror Movie, shot in the early 1990s. Now, the original production of this said movie was never finished or properly released, but 3 leaked scenes became an underground cult phenomenon online over the decades. Decades later, Hollywood studio wants to remake it, and the narrator is pulled back into the project as a consultant / advisor. The novel kind of alternates between present-day chapters, excerpts from the original 1993 screenplay, and just letting you read the actual script alongside the modern narrative. The screenplay excerpts are formatted like an actual script, so scene headers, dialogue, stage directions, etc. This creates a found footage feel in prose form and lets the reader kind of piece together what may have gone wrong, I guess, during the original shoot. It definitely has a way of dealing with interesting topics like cult fandom and how internet virality just distorts memory, the ethics of remaking real tragedy for entertainment, and identity and performance, where the actor kind of ends and the character begins. Definitely deals with trauma and unreliable memory, and generally it is received as one of Tremblay's most accessible, structurally inventive books, often compared favorably to his early hits for blending meta horror commentary with character-driven dread. Now, I actually really liked this book. I thought it was phenomenal. I had an interesting time finding it. I think there was only one left in all the Targets surrounding my general areas, and I was gifted it by my girlfriend on my birthday, and I was really stoked to get it because this book, it was hard to get my hands on once people started picking it up as well. I highly recommend it, but my goodness, this book is amazing. I'm really into horror. I've been doing Halloween Horror Nights for the last 4 or 5 years now, and I'm just blown away with the way he wrote this. I love how we go back and forth between an actual novel and the writing of how it feels like a novel would. But then if you're not familiar with screenplays or how movies are written, this actually gives you a good peek behind that curtain and shows you some of the stuff. As you can see right here, bam bam bam, we have an actual script in there, but then it goes into regular book form. So I thought this was amazing. There's many times throughout this book, I think probably about 3 or 4 that I can think of off the top of my head, where I actually was feeling like, oh man, this is a wild moment in this story that actually made me feel something and kind of like cringe, or like ooh, but cringe less in the oh that's cringe way, but more of like a holy I can't believe I'm reading this right now. I highly recommend picking this book up if you can get your hands on it. It is definitely worth the read. One thing I did notice though, and I was curious if anyone else had this in their books, but let me see if I can find a good example real quick. I noticed that some of the pages had a bleed to them, if you will. So like right here's a perfect example. There's that kind of page bleed, like as if it's an old copy or old screenplay or something like that. And I'm curious if that was on purpose or if that was actually on accident. You can see it right there too, and then on that side as well. But I noticed that on multiple pages, so I was curious if anyone else had that in their book or if my book's just kind of messed up. But if you want a good novel, a good story, a good horror take, and an interesting way to go about writing a horror story, I think this is the book for you. It's one of the best I've read lately. The way I explained it to people when they were asking me about it was like, imagine like the Blair Witch came out and something really bad happened on that, but no one got to see the actual release, and then the fame and the theories and the everything that came with it grew into its own little beast until the point where you couldn't not want it. You know, you couldn't not talk about it. You could not be like, oh, that one movie, this one thing in this fictional world, of course. But it grew into its own entity to the point where people were like, yeah, we gotta get this and film this and make it and actually finish it. And just how everything played out, especially in the ending chapters, I was blown away. Did not see any of that coming, and I just like how they went about telling the thin kid and kind of what the script says about him, and just the change and everything that takes place. I'm trying not to spoil anything too much, but I do want to talk about it, and it's just a really good read. It's a really fresh take on an easy kind of trope in the horror world, but spun so well that it makes you kind of really want to know what's going to happen next. I know I'm kind of spitballing this and just doing it off the top. I've got some notes right here to kind of guide me, but I'm very impressed with this author, Paul Tremblay. So if you see this, go pick it up. One other thing I really liked about it was the cool little design that they had going all the way around. I'm a red and black color scheme kind of guy, so this is right up my alley. And it's only about, what, 300 pages or so? So if that, I don't even think we got to 300, 275, 276, around there. So it's a really fun read. It's not hard at all. It gives you a cool perspective of kind of what a movie script looks like and how it's written and how they go about consulting into getting a revamp done. But yeah, great book. Check it out. I will definitely be reading more of this author. I'm curious to see what else he has going on. And yeah, I will be starting a new book either tonight or tomorrow. I usually read before I go to bed. It helps me get to bed. So the next 3 on deck, I don't know which one I want to do. I've been on a Stephen King thing right now, so I'm taking a break, but I might hop back into it. I think I've read like 4 or 5 Stephen King books in the last year, back to back. So I'm kind of hopping into some newer stuff, but it's either Stephen King, this Cell, definitely wanting to read that and see what's going on. Summer of Night by Dan Simmons, or this is the newest one I just picked up, which really intrigues me, is Songs of the Dead by Brandon Sanderson and Peter O'Rulian. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. It sounds like a Pokemon gym, but this I just literally picked up like a week ago, mainly because of I'm a musician. I love music. I love producing music, but it deals with that limbo and some cool stuff. I really like the artwork on it and stuff, and when I opened it up, I really liked that right there, so I thought that was pretty nifty. So those are the 3 options next. Let me know which one you guys think I should read, and I'll start with that. And if you guys want me to do a review on it, I'm happy to, but I think I will be sharing more of the books that I'm reading on my channel, just because that's kind of become the new thing I do every night just to get myself to sleep. So if you guys are looking for a great new kind of way of reading and digesting horror, and a good story at that, check this out. Worth the read. Take it easy, guys.